right, so now at last we're going to speak with some of our alumni. First is Amy. Amy went to two different locations with us for 2 semesters. She did London in the fall of 2022 and Florence, Italy in spring of 2023. Amy, do you want to come off mute and say hi?
Hi. I guess what's on the screen. My name's Amy. Right now I'm a third year student in Parsons School of Design, New York City, and double major in illustration and psychology. So,
All right. Well, one thing I'd like to point out to our viewers here tonight is her post-Verto school was a non-partner school. So that's entirely possible too. So for any specific questions about that process, really recommend connecting with one of our admissions counselors on our team. You could do that by submitting a free application to Verto, or just by emailing us, which I'll drop the email in the chat here in a minute. And then Madison, our second alumni tonight with us, she did Costa Rica in fall of 2023 and Buenos Aires, Argentina in spring of 24. Hey, Madison.
hi, I'm so glad to be here talking about my Berto experience. Yeah.
All right. And so, like Amy, Madison carried on to a non-partner school with Verto or after Verto. So, just to make it clear to our audience tonight, you have a lot of options with Verto, with our different partner schools and getting that guaranteed admission, direct transfer style, or maybe a non-partner school. The credits you earn with us, they will transfer even to a non-partner school. But again, for specific questions, reach out to an admissions counselor on our team. I'll drop the email right here in the chat for you. Now we have some really fun Q&A for our alumni tonight. So let's start off with Amy. Amy, tell us a little bit about the photos you chose here.
The one where I'm in the yellow pants, that's actually one of my care team's leader who's still there after 3 years. I went back to London for a work trip and I decided to stop by the study center and she was still there and she said hi. The one on the bottom where there's a lot of people on the boat, that's on our overnight trip to Verona in that's Lake Garda in Italy. So that was my care team and we have such a great group and everyone's like I'm still in touch with my roommates and a lot of people from there too.
Oh, that is fantastic. Shawnee and I got to go to our site in London back in October. So we met Sarah, your program leader with you in that photo. Just wonderful. It was so nice meeting them in person. All right. Well, thank you for sharing about these photos. Madison, what about your photos? Tell us a little bit about what's going on there.
So on the top left, that was a photo during an excursion we took to an estancia, which is like an Argentinian ranch, basically. It was super fun. We had an asado, which is like a typical Argentinian barbecue. It was probably one of the best days of the whole program. It was so fun. You really got to like be immersed culturally there because Estancia is like a huge part of their culture and their history. And the bottom right is just me being happy in the city. I love Buenos Aires. I'm actually in the south in Patagonia, but I currently live in Buenos Aires because I love it so much. So yeah, that's about my photos.
Wow, Madison, that is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. I love to hear and see about your experiences with the excursions with Verto. I hear from students just how really awesome those are. All right, Amy, well, tell us a little bit about why you chose to go with Verto as opposed to another organization or, say, starting college traditionally.
I was waiting for my other uh of acceptance from my school when I was applying when I was in high school, and it was really nerve-wracking because I didn't get a lot of information from any of the school, although I got some letters back and everything. And my advisor actually recommended me to go with Verto, and I jumped on the call, and I just had a really good time. It's everything I dream about to do after high school, and like going abroad and spend time there. And honestly, it's the best memories I have, and I keep like brag about them when I'm in college now. Now that most of my friends are actually in study abroad, but it's a different feeling because it feels like a very smooth transition from high school and got all the care I needed when I'm abroad and learned so much about myself and going to college now. I'm much more confident. So.
All right. So glad to know it was a seamless transition for you. That's really, really important. How about you, Madison? Why did you go with Verto instead of another organization or starting school traditionally?
Well, for me, as someone who I was pretty like I knew I wanted to go to college, but I was pretty like unsure about everything else. I didn't know exactly what major I wanted, and I honestly felt a little bit of like burnout, and I really wanted to like balance like continuing my education, but also like doing things I really wanted to do. So for me, Verto was like the perfect thing because I could kind of like leave such an important chapter of my life, high school, and start the next chapter doing something super exciting and kind of like a big representation of what I want like my whole life to be like, which is traveling. And that felt like just like the perfect thing for me. I was only planning on doing one semester, but I actually ended up doing two. And yeah, also I feel like Verto just gave me so much support that it felt like everything kind of fell into place. And like after I'd gone through the process, it kind of just felt like an easy decision. So yeah.
Well, that's great. So glad to know that both of you had somewhat of a seamless process from high school to Verto to your post-Verto school. That's always very important. Well, Amy, tell us what life outside of class was like when you were abroad with us. Activities, what'd you do in your downtime? We know that the academic rigor of our coursework is on par with traditional universities here in the States. Did you feel that it was manageable and did you have downtime?
Yeah, I have 6 classes each location, and they didn't feel like too much of a burden to me. And outside of class in London, I watched total of 28 shows, including some I was able to watch it with my intro to theater class. Such an amazing class. And there's about 10 of them actually, or maybe like 8 to 10 of them was from the activities that Verto did. And we can just sign up and it was free for us that we just get to go see a bunch of West End show. It's awesome. And I take like weekends, I will go visit Paris, and when I'm in Italy, I visit I think over 6 or 7 country on my downtime, and I did not have to miss any single class. And yeah, I did a lot of on-site studying for art history, especially in Italy. You have all that great period for Renaissance, and I spent mo lots of my time in like on location watching the artwork. Also in London, I spent so much time in the British Museum, which is right next to the study center, and it was just amazing.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up. The British Museum is right next to the study center, and what an amazing place for recreation, for education. But so glad to know that you were able to do all the great things that you did outside of class there. So it sounds like you do have plenty of downtime in between classes and on weekends. That's great. How about you, Madison?
Um, yes, I would say like the classes I took during Verto were some of the most manageable I've taken, but also some of the most like valuable. Like I got a lot out of it. I think just the fact that um because of the experiential learning and a lot of the learning that you do isn't like sitting on your computer like writing something. Of course that exists and you do it, but that's not as much of a percentage of the work. And I would say like yeah, there's definitely time. I'm not sure if it's still true, but I know in both my locations we didn't have classes on Fridays. Like nobody had classes. I think maybe some of the locations are like that. So that was great. And also your schedule may just allow for a day off during the week. I would say like everybody that I studied abroad with had a lot of time to travel around the continent or wherever they were. And yeah, I would say like it's you're also way more motivated to go out and do fun things because you're in a new place. And I would say that like I never really felt like I really wanted to go out, but I couldn't because I had schoolwork to do, like you really have like the support and get a lot done during class. So yeah.
Good. So it sounds like between the two of you, there is somewhat of a really nice work-life balance when you're with us. So that's great. Well, Amy, can you tell us if you what you learned about yourself? Was there anything you learned about yourself maybe that you weren't expecting?
Yes, I was actually going on a pre-med route for my college. But when I was at Verto, I was encouraged to try out art school, which is something I guess I've always been passionate about and loved, and now I end up in a place that I would not trade for the world. Um, and s- because you have so much time and you're abroad, you learn a lot about yourself and what you really want. And I think that's such an important question for just out of high school and having this time to learn about what you're passionate about, what you actually want to do for life, or um and also I learned that I cannot live without different kind of food. That was my favorite two things to try of all the country I visit. I just eat.
Yep, definitely a lot of really good food options in London that I found, which I was very happy about. How about you, Madison? What did you learn about yourself?
Well, I learned that I'm capable because I think the one thing about doing something like this in the beginning is you're like, how am I gonna do this? And because you have the like the support, you realize like, whoa, like I just did a whole semester slash year of school internationally and like I lived by myself and I took care of myself. And I think that is a great lesson to learn like at the start of your university years that like you're absolutely capable. I also learned that I really love cities. I was in Costa Rica my first semester with Verto, which isn't a location anymore, but it was like very rural. And I went to Buenos Aires for my other semester, and I really didn't know what to expect, but I love cities, specifically Buenos Aires, because there's just like so much culture and energy, and it's just like a great place. Like I didn't feel like, and there's also so many parks and everything. So yeah, those were probably two things that I learned. I would have never expected to have moved to one of the biggest cities in the world, but like I did because of Verto, and it also completely changed my professional trajectory. On my semester with Buenos Aires, I was doing a marketing internship with Verto actually. So there's also like professional opportunities there too that have been great for me, and I've completely built everything I have now off of that.
Fantastic. I love it. Thank you. All right, Amy, what advice would you give to someone considering Berto?
I say go for it. Like, not any of my question, like problem financially or like academically or like anything that I run into, like it was a really easy process. And Verto is a place where people want to see you succeed and they want to help you. And that's tr what I really felt. And if you imagine yourself really just to be young and wild and free, like that's the place you want to be with such a safety net behind you.
Awesome. Love it. Madison, what advice would you give to someone considering Berto?
Sorry. I would say the same thing. Like I know it sounds crazy and it maybe you're thinking that we're like exaggerating, but we're not. I think that something that maybe you have experienced in like the application process is that sometimes it's very hard to get support in a university setting because there's so many students or whatever. But with Verta, like you really are supported in every way, and that so that you can just like freely jump into the experience knowing that you're going to be taken care of. And like truly it's life changing. Like anyone who's ever studied abroad can say that it's life changing, but to do it your first semester slash first year is like truly unbeatable. And everyone that I studied Verto with, they feel the exact same way. So I would say that it's absolutely worth it, and you'll be so happy that you did it.
Oh, well, thank you so much, the two of you, for joining us this evening. We really cherish your presence here. I know so many of our viewers and our attendees tonight really value the what you have shared with us. Absolutely. We're
Thank you
going to
so
keep
much.
you around.